G'day friends, welcome to today's YouTube video. My name is James. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new. I know I've seen you on here week after week, every Friday, and some other days as well when I upload a little bit more frequently. But it feels like I've been away for so long because I've had pre-recorded content out for a while. So hello, officially I'm back. I'm back from Australia. We had a wonderful time. I'm sure I'll go more into it in those Australia videos that I end up making at some point when I have 5 seconds. But today I wanted to get started on my Christmas journal, my journal that I'm going to use throughout December. People call these tons of different things. They have the whole December daily thing going on, which I believe is more of a scrapbooking type thing. I'm really not quite sure, but however you do Christmas journaling, essentially for me, it's just whatever I decide to document over the Christmas season. However I decide to document it. You know me, I like to keep things really loose and open so I can't fail at it. Anyway, but you're actually looking at my journal. This is it. Isn't it lovely? Well, here we go with some cutaway footage, and I'll kind of explain what happened as we go through that. I have decided to use these Trader Joe's paper bags as my December journal. Now, if you don't know, throughout this year, I've been really into junk journaling, or what I've referred to as garbage journals, just because I've been collecting absolutely anything and everything that would technically be considered garbage a lot of the time. Also tons of other stuff that just doesn't have homes. And I've just been kind of smashing them into these traveler's notebooks. I'll show you some of those in a second. I want to keep going with this footage I guess I've got going on. I'm assuming I'm editing in, hopefully. Anyway, I decided I'm going to use these Trader Joe's bags because we were on a trip to get groceries, and Steve had made mention of the fact that our whole cupboard is overflowing with these paper bags because I forget to bring the fabric bags every single time I go shopping. So we have so many of them. We even have tons of Christmas ones from last year and these holiday ones from this year. And I thought, you know what? I bet I could make a journal out of that. Now, before we start, I will address any of the art purists in the room. No, I cannot verify if this paper is acid and lignin free. I'm probably 1000% sure that it's not. So who knows how archival this is. But the wonderful thing about being an art journaler that makes content is that once the video goes up on YouTube, it's pretty much documented there forever in eternity. So even if it does disintegrate over 100 years, hopefully there's still a video record of it somewhere. If not, I'm not going to be here, so don't worry me. Or maybe I will be, I don't know. Things might... Who knows? Let's not go there. All right. Also, if you notice my voice is a little husky, I've got a baby cold. I don't know where it's coming from, but we'll live. And yeah, so I decided to grab all these bags. I think in the end I chose 9, and I've alternated them between this gingerbread frosty winter thing and those red. The elf red bags, which have some like drinks in the side thing. Anyway, the process is pretty simple. If you know how to do like bind a journal together, bind a signature together, it was just basically that. I decided to rip out, well, kind of rip off all the handles first, then open up the gusset, then slice down the length of that seam that keeps it all together. Then I had to kind of rip off the whole bottom chunk, and I decided to refold it so that I could have as much of the paper usable as possible. I really wanted a big journal. Now, these are actually humongous, and they are, I'm going to measure them right now. If you hear me doing that, that's what I'm doing. Oh, 12, no, lying. I'm measuring the bag. I didn't actually measure the journal. The journal is actually bigger than the bag because I folded it over the kind of side gusset way. So you get the side and I guess half of the front. Yeah, that's it. So essentially the dimensions measure 12.5 inches by 14 inches, which is actually massive. I don't think I have anything like this, certainly not this specific size, but journals as they go, I mean, I have a big A3 one, but that is actually too huge to get on the desk most of the time if I've got other stuff around me, which I always do, because it's always chaos at this desk. So anyway, I decided to go with it because I've been loving my junk journaling. I've been loving all the types of journals that I've been using this year. I have a whole video on YouTube talking about all the different kinds and what I use them for. So if you're ever curious about that, just go check that out. I also have a whole playlist of every video I've ever done. So if you feel like you're missing one, it's probably in that playlist. Anyway, so I decided to sew them all together, and I have a test journal. You'll see that after I've shown you this footage, but in the test journal, and I'd done all of these pencil drawings, which looked fabulous on the craft paper, I realized that there was lots of wrinkles that were kind of getting in the way. And even though I felt like it was kind of organic and whatever, it was irritating a touch. And especially I thought if I'm going to put lots of photos in here or ephemera that kind of, I don't want those creases in there, I decided to be super duper extra and iron the whole thing. I also didn't take any caution with this. Do not do as I do. Go find a safe way to do it. I just kind of took the iron to the desk, and you know what I found out? That glue that the handles are held on with will reactivate when you heat it up, and then it will glue your whole book together. So be careful of that too if you're ironing, especially if you're ironing on, like, you've got paper between them, or you're trying to put fabric between them. If you really don't want to, you know, take the iron straight to the paper, because I'm really not even quite sure what it's going to do to this screen printed, you know, kind of paint on here. Who knows what's going to happen? It's all a big experiment. And look, to be honest, do I think anyone else is going to do this? No. If you do it, please tag me. I would love to see how yours turns out. But I thought it was a great way to recycle them. Steve was so mad at me that we had so many, and now I've made a journal out of them. He can be happy, and I can be happy that I have the most massive Christmas junk journal that will ever exist in my little art studio, I think. Oh, speaking of Steve, he's home. Anyway, let's cut back to me. I'm sure I've shown you all the footage right now. So here is the test journal. That's the bag. This is what it ended up looking like. You can see how it's actually bigger. It's wider than the bag itself by probably like an inch. Anyway, this is the test one. I was testing just a few supplies on there. Oh, I got a label maker. Steve got this because he needed it for something, but now it's mine. And it's not like an old school one, but I do have fun just printing things out for no reason. Anyway, this is the first one I did. I did an extra little binding on the edge with this spare side piece. I figured I don't actually need that. There's no reason to reinforce the edge just yet. And this was what some of it looked like inside. I did a big sketch with some markers and some paint markers, some pencil. I loved the pencil. Here you can see more of the pencil drawings. I had a spare little photo down here. I wanted to test the stick, because sometimes craft paper, or specifically craft paper, sometimes I've used them, stickers won't stick to it, washi tape won't stick to it, you know, the adhesive type stuff won't stick. Even this washi tape is doing okay. This one's a little, it's a little peeled off at the edge. That's just because I had that exposed on the roll. But this is actually holding up really well, so I'm pretty happy with the quality of this paper. As far as drawing on it, the pencils look beautiful, the markers work like markers do, pens and everything work really wonderfully. Craft paper is a great mid-tone, great neutral, great for skin tones as well. You've already got that rich kind of brown base, so you can either work darker from there and it works really well, you can work lighter from there, it works really well. You have that mid-tone that just, I love working on craft. Anyway, you also have these really fabulous pattern pages, which this is a pretty typical Trader Joe's one. These are the ones that I did for my test, but I'll show you the Christmas ones. I just wanted to show you some more of the drawings that I did. Some didn't work. This was gouache, but not gouache gouache. I used a water brush, which really thins it out and makes it a bit chalky. Well, it doesn't make it chalky, but the thinning it out just doesn't work that well. If I used it like regular gouache, it would have just gone on really opaque. But anyway, I was just practicing, doing lots of fun things. A lot of these are now in Collage Club for December 2022, so enjoy that if you're in Collage Club. And yeah, I had a great time testing it all out, but can you see the creases in it? You can still see all of them. You can still see those in the one that I've made, which I'll show you in a second. But all of these extra little wrinkles kind of ironed out really well. So I would just recommend, if you are going to use paper bags to make a journal, give it a good iron. Or if you don't have an iron, or you don't like working with heat, sometimes you can lightly mist it with water and then put it under some heavy books. The water will activate the fibers in the paper, and that heavy pressure, once it's all dried out, should flatten it out as much as it can flatten it out. So that's also a good tip for that. Well, there you can see one of the Christmas pages. This is the official one, because this only had a few pages in it. This is what nine bags looks like, which is, you know, I say it's substantial, but I feel like I could fill all of this with just the junk that I've collected already. You know me, lots of junk. And this is what it looks like ironed out. So you can still see a bit of texture. There's a few wrinkles in there, the creases for sure. You can see I accidentally ironed over these glued together, but they did become a little flatter. I'm sure you could get rid of them if you really cared to. The ironing also has the bonus of giving this a really nice press and a really flat crease. So this is a really super lay flat journal. It's also big and floppy. I mean, I don't have anything like this. Something that I just feel like it's just really tactile. The experience of flicking through this feels super organic. and I really love that. I'm not like an organic granola person, but if I was, I'm sure I'd love this. The whole recycling aspect and, I don't know, the craft paper, it just feels really earthy, doesn't it? Anyway, if you're that type of person, hopefully you'll love it. Anyway, this is the paper. You've got the Winter Wonderland experience and the elves. And you know what? When I lined them up, it actually kind of lined back up again. I don't think it's the exact way it's supposed to line up, but it doesn't really matter to me. There is this little cutout here because of the paper bag. I don't mind that. I could put some ephemera up there if I really cared about it. I actually thought it'd be a cute little place to kind of hook a charm right at the end. Maybe like just to feature that little area. I'm not quite sure. And I kept the serrated edge on top, and I just tore all the edges with a ruler because I felt like there was no need to make them all super uniform and super neat. I'm really into the idea of this just being the most massive version of my kind of smash book garbage journal type experience I've been having the whole year. So let me show you some of those so I can give you a good idea, because I'm not going to get to too much in this. I have a few bits of ephemera I will put in towards the end of the video, but I wanted to show you what my idea was so that you would get a good sense for what this might look like. I'm going to try and film it as we go, so hopefully I've got lots to share with you on this, and especially take some photos for Instagram as often as I can so you can be updated on it. But it's mostly going to be like doodles, drawings, collage club stuff, photos especially. I love all this real estate for massive photos because I just love to print photos now. I mean, I always have, but now that I've got these photo journals, you'll see the obsession has kind of taken over. See these big photos in these photo journals, these big photo collages. So I'm really into the idea of doing big photos. That's going to look great. I feel. This is my first one. So yeah, big photo. These are all photo journals. Big, gorgeous Christmas photos. And then I've got garbage. So this is what my first garbage journal. And you can see there's tons of different stuff like wrappers from things, inserts, flyers, business cards, tags, postage stuff, ribbons, literally everything. This is kind of like one of those books that you have to feel your way around it. It's the most tactile experience flipping through a journal. And I don't discriminate. Everything can go in here. If it can be stapled or glued down, it's in here. And sometimes I'll go back and I'll actually just draw around or fuss around in it. Like if I just feel like going like this one day, I'll just open the book and do that. Just, you know what I mean? It's really like a journal I can do anything to. You know those ones, what were they called? Wreck This Journal? It has that vibe. It's like a junk journal, plus a Wreck This Journal, plus a home for wayward ephemera, like stuff that's been floating around for 5 years that just has nowhere to live. It's got to go in here. And yeah, like even this, I think I'm positive it wasn't this one, but we wore these gems on our face for a virtual voyage, but this was one of the spare ones. Like even that'll go on there. Stuff that I would typically think is too chunky and bulky to put in a regular journal, it's definitely going in here. And I think we're up to the 3rd garbage journal for this year as well. So that speaks to the amount of garbage that I attract. And a good look at kind of what it should all look like coming together is, I'm going to say the journal that really started it all last year. This is a Job's journal insert. I don't know if he's doing these again this year. I haven't seen them, but these are like not pre-decorated, but there's all the pages have something on them. So it's like a ready-made junk journal, if you will. And it's a traveler's notebook size. And I did my Christmas in it last year and I just had a blast. I was being, a bit more curated. It wasn't so much just putting all my junk in there, but I would spend some time with it. I'd also be really, really loose with it. Like if things had torn edges, I didn't really care. I'd staple things in that were chunky and bulky. And so it was part junk journal style and part, kind of my regular style of documenting. Oh, I think this came out of the, what's it called? What is that called? Binding. I think it's pulled out of the staple. I'll have to put that back in. In any case, I could just put an elastic around it. This was something that I really loved so much, I wanted to do it again. And I think I'm going to have a lot more fun with a lot more space because I did have to size everything down to fit into this. And that can be its own challenge that feels good sometimes. It's not my favorite challenge to do all the time, especially in a time where we have like not a lot of time. Wow, how many times can I say time? there's not a lot of spare time for me around this season, especially this year doing another job, which I'm absolutely loving, by the way. Thank you for asking. Yeah, I don't really have time to focus on like sizing things down and making things the correct size and making sure that the photos will fit. I kind of need a fuss-free experience where I know that anything I want to throw at it can go in there, and I really don't have to do much work to get it in there, which is not a bad thing. If you have the time for that and you enjoy that, I say go for it. There are definitely times throughout my creative journey where I have indulged in that, and that feels just as good as having, the space and freedom to do whatever in a really large journal. So don't take either of those as like the right thing to do. It's just, for me, this year is kind of like a matter of time thing. I just need to be practical. And I think this will work really well for me because I already have a bunch of ephemera here. I'm going to put this in with you just so you can see how much I'm not going to stress about it. I've got a bunch of ephemera here that all belongs in this journal somehow. I don't know if we'll put it all in, but it's super random. Like this big Moulin Rouge playbill cover, I guess. We went to the Segerstrom to see it just randomly when we came back because I'm obsessed. And this is quite huge. Now I'm trying to put this in a traveler's notebook. I'll show you. It's literally bigger than the whole book. So you would have to start getting creative about how you crop it, or how you might want to fold it in there. You might want to make a pocket out of it. There are tons of ways to do it, don't get me wrong. And those, shouldn't take you a billion years to figure all that out. So it's not bad. But with this journal, I can just slap it in. It could be a tip in and just flip open, and now I can put something on the back. Or I can just slap it in as is and call it a day. Also, I have bunches of my junk, my quote-unquote junk, but a lot of these things to say recycle, so I feel good about recycling them. And look at all this is metallic. I mean, you could put a photo on top of that and use that as a metallic border. I know you've got some of this extra junk on the side, but you'd be shocked at how much pattern paper you accidentally have lying around in your packaging. Like this Coke No Sugar package, I felt like would be a great tip in because it's huge and it already has some festive little Christmas icons there, and it matches, it's craft, and it's a sturdier craft, so this might add some kind of stiffness to the journal, but it's just going to be what it is. I'm not going to try and restrict myself in any way. My sister made me this beautiful big card, so I wanted to put this in here as well, and that can just go there in its entirety and live somewhere special, because I will always flip through this. I might end up just wrapping a bow around it and putting it under the tree every year so I can just remember Christmas 2022. I actually flip through this one a lot. So I think there's something special about, for me anyway, having a Christmas journal, because I get to document those seasons specifically, and around that time I get to go and indulge in those previous seasons. I have my other 5-year and it's fun to look back on and stuff, but having something really specific and just, chock-a-block full of my Christmas experiences, and they don't all have to be Christmas related, just kind of anything that happens in December, right? Well, this is November and December. I'm changing the rules. It was my Christmas season. I was already celebrating Christmas at this point, so it works. But yeah, I want to put it in there. I want to get this in there as well, but I haven't actually popped it, so I won't pop it. I'm going to undo it because I want the whole thing in there. But yeah, we got some stuff to put in. And, I wanted to show you this as well. I didn't show you, and I don't know if I'll get time to make a video, but I was going to say it was a really cute idea if you have a silhouette or a cutting machine of any kind really, and you have the ability to print and cut from home. I made this for Elijah, and I haven't shown you his Australian journals yet, but one of them he just filled with photos, because I had gone through kind of all the photos that my sister sent me throughout the year, or photos that I had of specifically, Elijah's my nephew, this is my sister, that's his mum. I picked out all the photos of him, or the experiences we had last year at Southwest Rocks, or photos that one's completely full. Oh yeah, empty. See, he loved it. There he is, Jai's Jew. And I gave them to him with an empty journal, and so he had a ton of these like photo stickers. Side note, he is obsessed with stickers in general, so having the stickers be his family photos was just like the bee's knees for him. And I love that he loved it, and I thought this would actually be kind of cute for anybody in your family, right, that's into journaling, even in the slightest. You don't have to go and do 7 pages or like this, but it's super simple just to grab the photos, drop them in, and in my Silhouette studio there's just a little square drag and drop kind of cut line, so I just dragged that square to fit into all these photos, instantly had these photo sticker sheets. So Even if you wanted to actually do a whole bunch and kind of wrap them up nicely in a cute little envelope with a bow, I think it'd actually be a really cute gift. Like if someone took the time to do this for me, I'd be so over the moon, so thrilled. So yeah, kind of like a really random, specific art journaler or like journaling, scrapbooking type gift, but really, really fun nonetheless, especially for kids. To get them involved, I mean, you really have to make it fuss-free, and he loved this. And I thought of it because last year I took my Sky Bambi companion and I had my little accordion folder here full of these little photo stickers. And he was pulling them out and he kept looking for ones of him or his family, but these were all just like my random memories. And so I thought, oh, next year I'll print him a whole bunch that he can have. And yeah, I actually found it easier for the photo stickers. Look at, he used them all. It's unreal. There's a few. I'm very offended that he left the one of me. It's fine. There was other ones that he used of me, so that's proof that he still loves me. All right. This is what I want to get in here. This was just a like pocket that I got from my R.M. Williams boots. I like with my ephemera to start big, and I think I'm going to pop this on the patterned pages because I don't really want to cover up any prime real estate for illustration and painting on some of those blank pages. This is a it's a Scotch. Yeah, 3M Scotch tape runner, advanced tape runner. It's huge, but look how big it is compared to this. But I think it's going to be great for this especially. I'm going to pop this here. Oh, that's actually got a good stick. Yeah, see? I'm really impressed with this craft paper. It is sticking, it is working. Also, whenever you've got one of these tip ends, especially if it's really hefty cardboard like this, just give it a really good crease with that bone folder. You don't want to spend your whole life fussing about with a book that tries to keep opening itself in the middle of the night. I've got this as well, which I was anticipating just stapling back on as a tab. So that'll look perfect there. This is from one of my ornaments this year. I always go feral for the Christmas ornaments at Target. There wasn't a ton this year that I liked, but there were some, which is enough. I really don't need a ton. Tim Holtz mini attacher, obsessed with that too. Great Christmas gift for a junk journaler, specifically, I would say. Giving that a good fold. Look at that. Simple, easy, done. I might even pop this in here as well. This will give me a good opportunity, and like for right now, I'm gonna make this decision, but you won't know that I've done that. So if you see this like open, what am I trying to say here? These are one of those decisions that happens in my mind, I don't necessarily say. But if I pop this here, I know now I've got a good space to pop a little photo down here and maybe write that like, oh, Stephen, I came back from Australia and saw Moulin Rouge right away. You know what I mean? Like this would be an opportunity for me to just dedicate that space to it. And that's kind of it, that it'd be done at that point. And it has a home to live, my ephemera. I've documented my little memory in there. And every time I flip through it, I'll think, oh yeah, remember when we did that? And I've just gotten so used to being so decisive in this process, mainly from having those garbage journals all year, because I've just been using them like, oh, it doesn't matter what I do. Oh, my nail's slicing through the ephemera. It doesn't matter what I do. I can do whatever I want. It doesn't matter. I mean, I knew that, but until I'd actually put it into practice like that with that junk journal, I thought, oh, this is how I like the junk journaling. Literal junk. Garbage. Which I shouldn't say that all the time, because Steve did give me some things that are in there. So he was like, do you think this is garbage? I was like, no. I mean, it's the way I'm doing it is junk journaling. This is one of in the performance things. We actually had understudies at it, which at first you're always like, oh no, is it going to be good? But I really did enjoy it. It was a great night out. The only problem was we bought the tickets so late, we were sitting up in the nosebleeds, which I haven't really seen Moulin Rouge from the nosebleeds. So there was a bit of enjoyment seeing things I hadn't really noticed before, being so far back. But then also you're just so into it. You want to be right down in there, especially when they do some of those big ensemble numbers. Like I want to be on the stage feeling that energy. There you go. And that's all happening behind here. See, we're going to be great. This is going to be enough. It's going to work. And I need to put in Siobhan's card. I forgot my carry-on at the security screening in Sydney. And I went to go and get it. And they were like, oh, we have to open up this bag. Well, something's happened to that thing. What is that, Steve? Oh, okay. And I went to go and get it, and the guy was going through the bag. I'd forgotten I had my Sky Bambi companion in my carry-on, and it had 2 sets of scissors in there. And then this was laying on top, and he went to go and like move it and was crumpling it, and I went to go and put my hand on it, and he was like, don't touch. And I was thinking, oh no, I'm gonna get literally arrested because I'm trying to save this from being squished. Maybe here? Doesn't really matter. Why am I trying to see? It's one of those stupid thoughts that come in like, oh, don't cover up the background. It's exactly what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be covered up like that. I just don't know if I want it on the edge. I want it on the edge. There we go. I love when my sister makes me cards like that. I love anything handmade, but it's always so curious. I'm gonna stick this right there. I got these R.M. Williams boots for my sister's wedding, which was Gorgina. We had such a great time. It was a beautiful day. Talk more about that in, oh, look at the color temperature on this is completely shifted. I will say, I mean, it is what it is in winter. There's really not much I can do. So I'll try and fix it in post if I can. Look at this little Recycle Me sticker. I wanted to put this in here because this was like, this is what I'm doing. Yes, Bianca. I know. Do you hear Bianca? She's playing with her monkey that she's had since she was born. Maybe not this. All good. I like that. It's kind of like an Australian saying, like, it's all good. Maybe it's all good that I sat up in the nosebleeds. Like, no worries. Oh, I have some Christmas stickers like this. I figured this would be a cute way to, like, journal along the stickers if I had a space that wasn't really conducive to journaling. But I think for now, you know what, I think I might leave it because we're almost at half an hour and I've explained kind of everything, but some of this stuff I might want to keep just in case. Like, if I have this photo, let me see if I have one big enough to demonstrate what I want to tell you. Yeah, like this. If I have this photo and I want to put it on here and just use the border as kind of like a backing to the photo or make that a tip in or something, I want to save that for that. I don't just want to stick it in for no reason, so I will just hold off on that for now. And I think everything else is good. I've shared everything. I just want to open, you know what, I'll open this up, see what it looks like inside. I won't stick it in, but I'm curious. Because it's got one of those crackers. This is a bonbon, or a Christmas cracker. That it's very popular in Australia, but isn't quite as popular here. I'll save that for my journal as well. I never see these here. More recently, they've started to become a thing. Look how gentle I am. It's literally not even glued and I've ripped the whole thing apart. Steve would be laughing. It's just got a little toy, a little Christmas hat. The Australian ones anyway. It's what pretty classic Christmas for me. When we sit down to Christmas lunch, we'll all pop the bonbons and put your little crepe paper hat on. There's usually a little joke in there and then something like a little toy. Apparently this is the toy for this one. It's a bit of a rort in my opinion, but I'll probably use that on a thing. Oh, I should glue this in as well. I should make a little trim out of that. That's cute. I think I have my Santa hat in here somewhere. No, not that one. I'm pretty sure I have my Santa hat glued in here, or shoved in here somewhere. Can't find it. But this, I don't want this in here because it's explosive. And the point is you both pull it, whoever gets the larger side wins. There we go. Don't want that in my journal. Set it on fire. All right. That is good. And I could make a pocket out of that or something. Make something fun. Alrighty, I'll leave that at that. I'll put all of this away. I am collecting all of my ephemera in this really cute box I got from Target. It's by James Jeffers. They have a whole range of artists that did Target collaborations for Christmas this year. And I just loved all of his stuff. We actually got his wrapping paper as well, and I got some of the gift bags. So I'll put some of the gift bags in here as well. I'll show you. Here they are. Aren't they so cute? I think I'll take the ribbons off and use those, but that's the same design as the box. We've got this cute little Santa. I think that's Krampus. I'm really not into that. It's too much, but I like the rest. This is the Nutcracker. Yeah, I thought they were really cute. So I'll put these in there somehow as well, with these little ribbons. And that's what I'll throw all my junk into that box just so I've got a place to store it. And then usually I'll just pull it all out, shove it all in, close the book, and then go. And then other days I'll just open it up to journal in it, or open up to do a bit of doodling in there. Yeah, I don't usually do all of that all at once, because there are times where I just need to destash it just to get it out of my way. The same kind of thing that I do with my regular garbage journals. And yeah, I've got a whole bunch of photos from Australia to print already, but I have to get those into my 5-year before I get them printed for this. I've got a lot of things to do, and I'm really struggling to juggle it all, but hopefully, fingers crossed, some more time will open up in my day and we'll get it all done. For now, I just wanted to show you what I was doing for my Christmas journal. If you feel like you want to make one out of bags, please tag me in it as well, just so I can see what you're coming up with. And if you've got any great ideas to share, that'd be wonderful as well. Otherwise, I'll keep sharing you mine and we can have a wonderful time journaling together. Until next time, thanks for watching. Bye.